with American Mining Rights. We got a pretty cool video for you today. We're going to do something a little bit different and teach you a different technique about how to mine bedrock cracks. Anyway, you see I've got the chainsaw. This is to a couple of claims that we've got called the A1 and the Lucky D. They're down in Bull Creek here in the South Motherlode. And anyway, this is one of the things that we do for AMRA members is we keep the roads open. Actually, the Forest Service gated this road a few years ago, and somebody pulled the gate out of the ground. Looked like with a big winch or something odd. Anyway, we got to cut our way down into here. It gets pretty brushy, and we're trying to just make sure that the rest of our members can drive down there. It's a pretty nasty road, but Bull Creek is one of the richest claims, actually richest creeks in the South Motherlode. And we have 9 claims in Bull Creek. And it's where we've actually made our living off of this creek for a number of years. It's really, really rich. And the old timers did work it. There's some lode mines over here on this side. But it was really rich with pretty good sized gold. We've pulled 1/4 ounce nuggets out of there. But what we're doing is Johnny's somewhere behind me. He's coming up the road, bringing the highbanker. What we're going to do is we're going to hook up our water pump with a small nozzle. And we're going to put that nozzle down inside those cracks and blow out that material out of the cracks, and then we'll process it from there through the highbanker. So it's a little bit easier than using a little digger tool to get down in the bottom. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's cut this road open and get down there. It's 27 degrees, by the way. We'll see you down there.
Raised in California, spent a little time in Hollywood. Folks down there ain't like you and me. They never seem to have enough time. Too busy living to live life right. It's always on to the next big thing. And up in city by the bay, you couldn't pay me enough to stay. I never got what the big deal was anyway. That's not where I call home. I need a little room to roam. I guess that big city life just ain't the life for me.
Explain why we're set up in this location. The creek actually goes pretty straight through here, but it does do a little slight bend here. So we're on an inside bend. Now John and Jim came down here a week or 2 ago, and they dug out right behind this little tree here and pulled a couple of grams out of there. And it's a pretty small hole. It's only about that big and maybe just a couple of feet deep. So we think by running the 3-inch in here, highbanker will probably do a lot better. Besides, I dig a lot better. I'm a lot harder worker than Jim ever thought of being. He's pretty lazy. So anyway, we're going to fire up this dead tree here. We're going to pull down, or probably just break it out and get rid of it. Maybe that'll open this up. But anyway, this should look pretty good. Let's get to it. When the chores were all done, running wild through the countryside, we were young and having fun.
Well, if you noticed, we had not a big tree, but about a 12-inch round tree right here, all dead, all rotted. We got that sucker pushed out of the way, and what it looks like is when the dirt piled up here, there was a nice crevice right through here. It's about this wide right now. That's where it rooted in. And we have a pretty good feeling there's going to be some nice gold in that crack right there. And we'll get our water nozzle, we'll get all this rot out of the way and rinse it all off, and we'll clean it out and we'll run it through that highbanker. And we'll come back to you.
Well, as far as the camera goes, What you guys are seeing is just a few minutes ago, there used to be that old dead tree here. And there was a big chunk of bedrock that was sticking up here. We managed to bust that loose, got it thrown out, then another chunk, and then this one was separating kind of from our hole here. So, as you can see, this thing's moving. This is coming out. This is where all the gold's gonna be. Well, we'll save you the monotony. This is what we're talking about, guys. Look at this, Johnny.
It's got to be loaded.
This is a root wad that was underneath this rock. And it's just hard as a rock. But this will be loaded. So we'll take the blaster nozzle and we'll spray all of this stuff out with high pressure water. Release that gold right here. And we'll get that. I have a feeling today's going to be a good day. Very nice.
And I thank God for small towns and farmland, folks who still make a living with their hands, places where a man can still be a man, like right here in my hometown.
In case you were wondering if this is illegal, it's not. And you don't need a frickin' permit to run a water pump. Not on a federal mining claim.
That's my California.
Well, guys, we ran, probably, we figured, John, 5 hours or so. And anyway, we're gonna clean out here, but I gotta tell you, we took a peek there at lunch, didn't really see much in here other than that one big picker that John saw, but this looks a heck of a lot better. I don't know, we'll bring the camera over here and show you, but there's some real nice pickers right there.
Yeah.
Which tells us there's probably a heck of a lot more, but take a look in here. That's a nice piece right there. Whoop. That's a nice piece of gold.
Yes, it is.
There's
Look at this.
4 or 5. There's probably more underneath here, and there's going to be...
There was a nice crevice in there I was poking.
Yeah, there'll probably be some more underneath there. But we'll pan this out and show you what we get. Well, we've knocked this down a little bit. And typical of Bull Creek, this thing's loaded full of black sand, so this is going to take a while. And we're not going to show you the burden of watching us micro pan this, so we'll speed up. Enjoy the music from Michael Walker in the background.
Raised in California, spent a little time in Hollywood. Folks down there ain't like you and me. They never seem to have enough time. Too busy living to live life right. It's always on to the next big thing. City by the bay, you couldn't pay me enough to stay. I never got what the big deal was anyway. That's not where I call home.
Well, we decided to carry this video over to another day, so we're on day 2. We actually ran pretty much all day. It's about 2:30. And we got into some pretty craggy little cracks down there in the bottom. Took the blaster nozzle and we stuck it down underwater and actually blew those out. And when we looked in the box a little while ago, it looked really good. So we're gonna go over and show you that. But we think we've done pretty dang good today. So we'll go take a look, see what we got.
Where I live, people know your name. They ask how you've been and they're always glad you came. You can sit down just to talk about old times. That's my California.
Sorry.
I still see friends from school, and I think about the things we used to do. Man, those were the good old days. We couldn't wait for summer to come. We'd head out when the chores were all done, running wild through the countryside. We were young and having fun.
Good. Well, we'll clean up.
Swimming in them Truly canals, getting sunburned and just hanging out, cruising through town on the way back home just to see if there was anyone around. And we'd go fishing all night long, bullfrog singing from dusk till dawn. Sometimes we'd just lay back and watch the stars with the radio on. That's still the place that I call home. 'Cause we got small towns and farmland, folks who still make a living with their hands. Where I come from, a man is still a man.
Well, guys, we're at the end of day 4 here, and we'll show you how much material we've ran here in just a second. We've looked in the box. We found one really nice picker, but not nearly as much gold as the last 3 days, so we've kind of chased that out, and we think that we've gone through that pay streak. So, but let me show you what we've done here, and then we'll clean out. We'll show you what we get. We'll show you what we got for the accumulation of 4 days. But when we first started shooting here, this hole was only, all of this was a big mound. This was all dirt. There were a couple of old dead trees here, which we ripped out, and then we've actually chased that in here. And if you look, you see how deep this is. The bedrock went straight down here, and then it's coming right back up. That's what this piece is here, and we've pulled out some other pieces behind me here. So we chased this bank up here this morning, and we didn't hardly get any gold, so we came back and we really focused on blasting these roots. Most of the gold that we found here in the last 4 days is it's all been in these roots. We're pretty convinced of that. We hit one little spot right about here, guys, that was over a hole, and when we were running the spray nozzle, everything turned orange, and that's exactly what we want to see, because that's indicative of old ground, and it might be just a little spot that the old timers miss. You got to understand something. We could darn near throw a rock to the road right here. That's how close it is. So this has been mined, but most of the time everybody comes straight to the creek and they dig in those freaking cracks. We went outside the creek, and obviously we've got good gold, and you'll see that in a little bit. But let's go ahead and clean out, and we'll show you what we got.
I was born and raised in California, spent a little time in Hollywood. Folks down there ain't like you and me. They never seem to have enough time, too busy living to live life right. It's always on to the next big thing.
Well, that's from today, and you know, that's not too bad. I think everybody would be pretty happy with that. A couple of days like that, your membership's paid for with AMRA. But we'll put the rest of the gold in here. Like I say, we chased it for a couple of days. and we were really in it. And we got a couple other pickers that we got today that we've already put in the bottle, so let's show you what we got.
Holding out.
Well, that's not too bad, guys. I think we'd take that any day of the week. That's a good amount of gold. And there's some big chunky pieces in here too. A lot of really nice pickers. Well, that's a little bit of mercury on that too.
A couple pieces.
Yeah, not a lot though. This gold in this particular creek runs about 92%. We've actually had it tested with one of their little laser deals. I don't know how the heck that works, but anyway, it came back 92%, so this is pretty pure gold. But we sure enjoyed shooting this video, and if you guys are sick and tired of the federal government and the state governments telling you you can't mine, they're closing your roads, everything else that's going on, join us. Get in this fight and get access to claims like this. I think that you'd really like that. I'm Shannon, and this is John, and we're American Mining Rights. We'll see you next time. Good day, buddy. Good job.
We're young and having fun.